27th of August. Pele Yoetz.
Yes, sirree. And it is Yoetz Elul, the 19th of Elul. Make sure you buy your seats for the Yomim Neroyim before they all sold out.
Also war in our show.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, so we are on page 35, and we are what did we say? 13 lines from the top.
Mhm.
13 lines down from the top.
Yeah.
He must.
The last two words are he must on the line.
Right.
And,
that's where it is.
Alan was reading, but don't know where he got to now.
Alan, you want to start again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He must also nurture his love for her in order that the children will not be considered children of the hated one. Heaven forbid, and according to his efforts will be his gain. The way to prevent arguments in his house is by not being so exacting in regard to every puta, smallest coin, the expenditures of a house, because harsh as the grave is the jealousy of one woman to another. Therefore, each man, according to his material blessing, must increase the honor of his home at the proper time, and by doing so, appease his wife. The blessing does not reside in the man's home, except for the sake of his wife, of a Messiah. So great is domestic peace that the holy name of God provides to be erased for it in the Durham 66. Therefore, even by sheer force, must the man stand up to and remove evil from his house, so that the divine presence will rest upon his home. I'll do the next paragraph also. Included in this love is that a man should not frequently travel far away, besides causing evil to himself, as explained, God willing, in the entry of Machshava. It also causes physical and emotional pain to his wife, for love is fierce as death. When the husband is away from her, she is like a storm-tossed boat, which experiences distress. He should at least be careful to appease her with words in a letter, in order to erase her longing. He should send gifts and items from time to time, according to his means, which would cheer up her broken spirit, bring her joy, and alleviate her anguish. It will be considered a great mitzvah whether he sends her a lot or a little.
Yeah.
Wow. I just am reminded of something that I just read. I think he quotes the Gemara also. Yeah, that was the beginning of the Gemara in Yevamos, 62b. Oh, here we have Simalea Cohen wants to come in. Good morning, Rabbi Yechiel. I hope you got my. We sent a page. We sent 2 pages to your email with the what we're reading today. So it should be on the email. We sent it last night. I think sometime last night. Couldn't have been too late. Okay, so there's a famous Gemara over there. Many different Maimari Chazal about marriage and about man and wife. And one of the things that it says over there is that Rabbi Tanchum taught in the name of Rabbi Hanilai, any man who does not have a wife will be living without simcha, without blessing, without goodness, without Torah, without protection, without shalom. So Rabbi Moshe Sakatovich, who wrote a very nice sefer, The Living Marriage, he said he once went to the Stipler of blessed memory, and he mentioned that unfortunately this state would also describe many men that also have wives. They don't live with simcha, they don't live with blessing, they don't live with goodness, they don't live with Torah, they don't live with shalom. So why does the Gemara particularly associate this this situation with a man who's not married? So you won't believe what the Stipler told him. The Stipler said, I'm just reading what it says over here in the book. Do you think that this Gemara is only speaking about men who are not married? That's what the lashon of the Gemara says. Kol adam she'ein lo isha. That's what it says. What does that mean? It means a man that doesn't have a wife. No? Says the Stipler. Wrong. Listen to this. Chazal are describing any man but there seems to be a mistake in the words over here. Describing any man who has come to the point that he is ready to get married, but he has not yet found his wife. Not only talking about that, he means to say, I think, but it also includes a man who is married, but he's living without shalom bias. And that, says the Stipler, a married man who is living with his wife without shalom bias, the Gemara regards that as Adam she'ein lo isha. He doesn't have a wife. That's somebody else, but it's not a wife. To have a wife means to have shalom bias. That's the essence of the marriage. And on this he says that if we find a man whose business is flourishing, he's successful in his Torah learning, he finds happiness in all of his endeavors, what's the source of his goodness? Chazal warned that it's simply a mistake to believe that the good fortune is a result of one's intellect and positive qualities. Rather, they explain that blessing is a result of one's wife. Okay. Just thought I would read that. Okay. So now, where are we up to now?
The very last paragraph on.
The last paragraph.
Last paragraph? Okay. How great is the obligation? Okay, Roy, would you like to continue?
Thank you. How great is the obligation of a wife to love her husband, to honor him as a king at the head of his army, to fear him and to fulfill his will and desire with all her strength. Her entire objective in thinking must be to strive to understand her husband's psyche, to know his bidding and to make his desires her own in order that she find favor in his eyes. The main focus of his love is the soul. As such, she should devote herself to facilitating his service of God, for this is her portion. She should speak to him sweetly if she needs to guide him on the good path and console him in his time of anguish. She should get up in the middle of the night to awaken him so that they may serve God together. It is unnecessary to say that she should be extremely careful not to be the cause of indirect damage by causing him, and forbid, to be neglectful of the service of God. This woman shall bear her iniquity. It is difficult to offer advice, but not all people think alike. Rather, based on the nature of her husband, a wife needs to conduct herself according to his character with grace and insightful understanding in order that their marriage should be successful in love and companionship. Quoting, "The wisdom of women has built their homes, and a woman who fears God shall be praised." And this is in Mishle 31:30. Because the need for a woman to be modest, and also a quote, "all the honor of the daughter of the king is within herself." That's in Tehillim 45:14. She must not cause men to sin with her eye and her heart. She needs to beautify herself for her husband and be cautious in regards to cleanliness, purity, and financial expenses so that her husband does not go astray and place his eyes on another woman. In this regard, her proper actions will bring her closer, and she will find favor in the eyes of her husband.
Okay. Who would like to read next? Mayor. Is Mayor there? Mayor's
No.
not there. So how about Lou?
Where are we?
36, second paragraph, a woman.
A woman who is wed to a God-fearing man, especially if he is also great in Torah and nobility, will certainly honor him and love him passionately. However, it is most urgent to give confidence to a woman whose lot has fallen in with a husband who is harsh in character and opinions, a lowly and disgusting man who shares no good. Not because of this should his honor be demeaned in her eyes, and he be despised in her heart. Heaven forbid. In any case, she should be sensitive to his honor, whether he be a moral person or a sinner, whether praiseworthy or dishonorable, for he is to her as a decree of the King of the universe. What knowledge does she have in regards to the hidden things of God? God brings individuals together and matches them to each other. Therefore, whatever it takes, she must do. This can be compared to a man whom the king desires to glorify and has appointed him second to the king. The entire nation is obligated to act towards him with respect, even if he is a leper or a repulsive person. Likewise, in this manner.
Okay. Who's reading next? Alan. Mayor, are you there?
Here.
Mayor's not there. Okay. So go to Alan.
Where are we now?
Last paragraph on the page.
37.
No, last page, 36.
Okay. Just as a woman is careful in regard to Nida, Challah, and the lighting of candles, so too she must be diligent in regards to respect for her husband, and such is the command of the king unto her. The reward will increase when her performance demonstrates that she acts for the sake of her maker and wishes to fulfill the decree of the king of the universe. The savior said, "There's no finer wife than the one who does the will of her husband." All women should be chastised by the story was written to Rendon 6060 about Baba Ben Buta. A woman displayed honor to her husband by hitting Baba Ben Buta on the head on the assumption that this is what her husband had commanded. Baba Ben Buta blessed her that she should have a son just like him. So by hitting him, she had fulfilled the desire of her husband. Therefore, all women should respect their husbands, be they great or small.
Okay. Let's go to Roy.
There are senseless women who make issue with their husbands over their inability to provide for the needs of the house. It is tremendous folly in any case. If the husband is truly poor and he does not have adequate means, his pain, depression, shame, and embarrassment at having to reveal to his wife his deficiency is clearly sufficient anguish. The woman needs to be wise and should not add grief to his pain. On the contrary, she should comfort him with a pleasant whisper of her lips and say, "Do not be sanded by the lack of money, for Hashem will not desert us forever. Days of delight will come wherein we will be satiated with food and goodness, or the pleasantness of our table will be filled with the delights in the world to come."
Wow.
Not every man merits to both tables, and this world is truly vanity and emptiness. Rise up, my Lord, and eat with joy your bread, for man can live by bread alone. She should speak kind words such as these to him with grace and compassion until he is cheerful and gives thanks for his portion. This goodly woman that is his.
Wow. That's some woman. Okay. So we continue on page 37 with the second paragraph. And we call upon Lou.
There are senseless women.
Next one.
Oh, if God improves the financial situation of her husband, and he nevertheless remains stingy or procrastinates in providing them for some undisclosed reason, what difference does it make? Whatever he brought home is what she should serve him. Could he possibly say to her, "Make me delicacies that I love"? He can say to him, "From what should I prepare that which you have not provided?" If she makes issue of clothing and physical enjoyment, this too is vanity and futile pursuit. The dry bread with serenity is better than riches with strife. If
You're going in and out sometimes.
If God's great name that was written with sanctity is allowed to be erased for the sake of domestic harmony, how much more so must a husband and wife be willing to forgive each other and nullify their personal will for the sake of a peaceful relationship? A woman needs to consider that her husband is not as wealthy as she thought, and that he is unwilling to admit that he does not have adequate resources. He thinks that his good fortune may be ruined, as well as other related rationalizations, is reason enough not to fulfill his wife's desire. Therefore, she should not pressure him or cause him to lose his self-confidence by increasing her expenditures against his will, for they are not for his betterment.
Okay, I have another story that parallels that story over here. Oh, if I could just find it right away, which I'm sure that I can do that. This was, yes. Oh, I know where this was. Okay, this, yeah, Right, here we go. Okay, I'm reading from the same Sefer, the Living Marriage from Rav Moshe Sankatovich. He says that he was an extended relative of Rav Shach Zatzal, the Rosh Yeshiva of Panovich, and he says that during his first year of marriage, he went to Rav Shach. He was and Rav Shach immediately turned to him and became involved with him, and he wanted to give him a little bit of advice, seemingly, and so Rav Shach took him to into his bedroom, and he opened his closets. Rav Shach's closet. What is in Rav Shach's closet? 2 suits. That's all that was hanging there. Then he asked his younger relative, if your wife's closet is packed from side to side and she tells you that she has absolutely nothing to wear, what are you going to say? So Rav Moshe relates, he says, I knew that I was being set up. I had no choice to remain silent. So I answered. I would say to her, what about the blue outfit? Maybe the green outfit. They're both very nice. Okay. Rav Shach looked at him, waved his finger, and he said, no. Why do you want to argue with her? Do you know anything at all about women's clothing? This is not something that you need to know about. And if she told you that she has nothing to wear, that means that she feels she needs clothes. So you have to go and buy her clothes. And then he added, not just 1 new outfit, but you need to buy 2 new outfits for her. So then Rav Moshe Sankatovich says, at that point, I was completely bewildered and baffled. I was a young Kolo fellow, and I was on a very limited budget. And Rav Shach knew what I was thinking, and he said, do you think that I'm causing you to lose all of your money? Just the opposite. I'm saving you a lot of money. If your wife thinks that you do not understand that she needs new clothes, she'll keep buying them until you really don't have any money. So that is the story. So what were the 2 lessons that came out from this story? Is that when a wife tells her husband that she doesn't have clothes to wear, she means 2 things. Number 1, she doesn't have any clothes to wear. She's lacking clothing. That's definitely so. But there was a reason why she mentioned this to her husband. Why did she do that? She wants to see what her husband responds, and that her husband cares about the fact that she really doesn't have anything to wear, and that she understands that that's the way she feels. And so Rav Shach explained, if you respond by saying that she should buy 2 new outfits, she'll know that you do understand her. And so if you take her out the first time and buy her 2 new outfits, and also the second time, and also buy 2 outfits, on the 3rd time, you'll see her attitude will change. When she tells you she doesn't have any clothes, you'll say, oh, okay, let's go. we're going to go and buy some outfits for you. She'll say, oh, but we can't really afford it. And if you say, no, I think, if we just cut down a little bit on the grocery bill, we could do it. And after a little thought, she'll say, I think I could wear my green dress. So this is a very important lesson which transcends new clothes. All of the needs of a wife find a dual expression, the need itself and the wife's desire that the husband care about and recognize that need. So when a wife knows that her husband really understands and cares for her needs, even needs that are not completely fulfilled will be much more acceptable. Okay. Now, where are we now in our book? Oh, that's what we were talking about. We're talking about expenditures. And now we go to page 37, the last paragraph on page 37. And Mayor, would you like to read for us? Likewise.
Okay. Likewise, a woman needs to consider that when her husband gets angry at her for seemingly no reason, perhaps he suffered some disappointment in the marketplace, and in his overwhelming frustration and anger, he spoke to her unbecomingly. As people are wont to say, whether he is able or not, a man will quarrel with his wife. She needs to forbear, not to anger him or cause him any more grief. This is a general rule. When there is an argument between people or between husband and wife, and one of them initiated the conflict by stepping out of bounds and opening his mouth without justification, the other individual must be strong enough not to respond at all, neither good nor bad, in the time of his anger, but he must wait until his antagonism has passed, and after a day or two, reprove him gently with soft speech. He should say to him, why did you do that to me? What are my crime and my wrongdoing that you pursue me with exceeding rage for no apparent reason? Will this be good in the eyes of God? Similar noble words like these are said by someone who loves and pursues peace. He will have peace in his relations and tranquility in his palace. Such individuals preserve the world, as our sages commented on the verse in Eo, the one who suspends the world on nothingness. That the world is sustained by those people who shut their mouths at the time of an argument. By doing so, the argument is ended and will not persist.
Okay. And we go back to Alan.
Okay.
Oh, I think we ran out of pages for Reb Yechiel now. We're going so far. Wow. I didn't think we would get so far. Okay, sorry.
So at the bottom of,
We are now on page 38, and the middle paragraph. A woman who has fallen.
Woman who has fallen in her lot comes to an evil man, one who hits, curses, tramples, and violates her privacy, should accept upon himself the judgment of heaven and suffer, never tiring of atoning for her soul, since great will be her reward in the world to come. A woman's valor and profound intelligence will not reveal to others the disgrace of her husband, his bad character and nature, and a cry will not be heard. This saves her husband from disgrace. He will not hate her more for having exposed him shame. Otherwise, his anger would smolder and his wrath would burn within him. He would strike her even more harshly than before. All the more so, she should not reveal to her father, mother, or siblings anything of her pain, depression, and plight. What benefit is there from the help of good of her father, mother, and siblings? Furthermore, fire will be kindled with them, giving them due to the tragedy of their daughter. They will confront her husband with the violence and make controversy with him such that the flame of conflict will burn all by itself. The woman who will bear her sin and eat its fruit in this world should be headed by a husband, and will continue to mistreat her for revealing their private matters.
Wow. This woman will bear her sin and eat its fruits in this world. Okay. Okay, next paragraph. He's focusing a lot on this scenario of the evil husband and the wife who's trying to live with him. Okay, so we go to the bottom paragraph of page 38. Roy is next, I believe. Please.
Therefore, if her father, mother, and relatives possess intelligence and understanding, even if a very difficult situation was told to them, they should pretend that they know nothing and greet him with a pleasant countenance for her good. Even if they want to voice their objection and to admonish him, they must seek a strategy to make it seem as if their information came from the neighbors who heard it by the window and so on. The best thing is that she should not reveal it at all, as we said, in order not to pain them, and so that they will not hate him in their heart. Rather, she should be like a bride who lives in peace in her in-laws' home, who is praised in her father's house. She should tell them that all is well in her home. It will be considered a meritorious act, for she will gladden her father's, mother's, and relatives' hearts. She will be deserving of the ultimate good. It would be even better if she herself reproved her husband at a favorable time with a pleasant, congenial, and kind voice. It will surely yield positive results, because in truth, soft speech can break a bone. To Mishlei 25:15. She should pour out her soul before Hashem day after day. Perhaps Hashem will be gracious and answer her prayer to return her husband to the good path, and she too will find peace.
Okay. Now we go to Lou to read the next paragraph on page 39.
A woman.
A woman must be careful and vigilant not to cause heavenly prosecution of her husband, or to
I
cry
think
tears.
we skipped, right? You
Yeah.
should do.
Oh, sorry, yeah, included.
Included in the love of a woman for her husband is that she should pray on his behalf to God. Since the heart of a woman is sensitive and her tears are near, if she prays to God from the innermost part of her heart, certainly her prayer will have an effect. A woman must also pray for her children, because in the well-being of her husband and children, she will find peace. Who will have pity on them more than she? God will be with me. My heart's desire is to write a pamphlet about the laws pertaining to the woman. I will write, with divine help, also the specific prayers relevant to women.
Oh, that was the author. You know, who's that? Who wrote?
I assume that's the author of the book making this comment in parentheses.
Yeah, let's just see if I have those words. Huh. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Yeah, fine. Let's go further. We're up to Mayor.
Okay. A woman must be careful and vigilant not to cause heavenly prosecution of her husband or to cry tears because of him. Granted that he is supposed to be more sensitive than she, as our sages said in Baba Metzia, a husband must always be cautious in regards to hurting his wife, because since her tears are near, so is her pain. Quick is retribution to come upon one who causes her anguish and sorrow. Nevertheless, she too must consider that if evil befalls her husband, God forbid, she shares a primary responsibility, and it is her life that it is at stake. The entire nation must hear and tremble from the story mentioned in the Talmud about the wife of a Torah sage who was waiting for him to return from his journey when he was delayed. She cried 2 tears due to her anxiety, and her husband died immediately, even though he had done her no wrong and had no intent to hurt her. It seems that there is a moment of divine anger in which a man can die for an ostensibly inconsequential reason, heaven forbid. Therefore, men must be cautious not to pain their wives, and women must be seized by trepidation at the thought of crying because of their husbands. Rather, they should beseech compassion on their husband's behalf. These are a few of the upright ways proper for man and woman who are dedicated to each other. A wise person will listen and add more teaching. It's from Mishlei. The work of our teacher, Harav Eliyahu HaKohen, Shevet Musar, in the first chapter, in the section on the relationship of husband and wife, discuss this matter. So shall they do and add even more to their favorable conduct in accord with their personalities, so that the divine presence will reside between them because of the peace in their home.
Okay.
Wow.
And now we go the last paragraph on page 40. Alan, would you like to conclude this section for us? It's on the top of page 40. The very first line on page 40. And we call upon Alan.
Okay. It is incumbent on the father and mother to counsel their daughter before and after marriage that she should follow the aforementioned guidelines. She should be very careful in regard to the honor of her husband, father-in-law, mother-in-law, brothers-in-law, sisters-in-law, and cousins, to the honor of God, who commanded her to be attentive to the honor of her husband. To the extent that she is respectful towards her husband's relatives, she provides contentment to her husband and will find favor in his eyes. It will be considered a mitzvah for her. It has always been said that it is not necessary to encourage a person to be a lover, pursue a peace, except to someone from whom peace runs away, and who has ample justifications for making arguments and controversy. On such a person, The responsibility to pursue peace for the sake of master peace is necessary, however, to inform the wife not to act with light-headedness or to increase chatter, levity, and frivolity. All the more she must avoid anything that might cause a bonding with any of his relatives. Rather, she should be respectful and modest, both inside and outside of the house. She should not cause any man to sin because of her, because of failings such as these women die young and give birth to destructive children, or their offspring die when they were still infants. Conversely, women who are careful in this regard merit having honorable and holy children who will become happy and joyous elders.
Okay, that completes the section. So, very good. And so next week, Bez Hashem, we will continue. And I haven't forgotten about the my homework that I have. I still didn't do it. But
I looked up the brachas
yeah,
and it doesn't really add much. It quotes our pasuk, and it says this is the source for how we know that merits are deducted. But it doesn't really. I didn't find it particularly helpful. I'm
Okay.
looking at kindness now, so we'll see if that says anything.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Okay. Good Shabbos to everybody.
Okay.
Nice to
have a
see
good
everybody
Shabbos.
today.
Shabbos, thank you very much.
Good Shabbos.
We'll see you
Enjoy.
again on Sunday. Yom Rishon.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Shabbat Shalom.
See you
Shabbat shalom
guys.
to everyone.
Hey,
Shabbos.
Yechiel, May